Hey, it's Marshall Atkinson with Atkinson Consulting, and this is a follow-up piece to my article, and I thought it would be fun to have a conversation with Adrienne Palmer, who's the editor of Screen Printing Magazine, the fine magazine you're enjoying right now, and we're going to talk about women in leadership and in ownership issues in this industry. So Adrienne, how are you doing?
Hey, Marshall. Doing well. Thanks. Thanks for inviting me into your column and your video format. And thanks for everyone who's here. I hope you all read Marshall's column and are now coming to this video for more information.
Yeah, so I thought it would be fun to have a conversation about first, the aspirational reasons why you started the Women in Screen Printing Awards, and then also how we can dovetail that into motivating and getting more women into entrepreneurship or leadership roles in the industry. So let's just take it. Why did you do the awards? Let's just start with that.
Yeah, that's a great question. So 5 years ago, maybe actually probably about 5.5 years ago, my former boss at Big Picture magazine, when I wasn't the editor-in-chief, Robin Donovan, she really saw the need to recognize female leaders in the wide format space, which Big Picture is a part of. And so we knew there were women in the industry. We just weren't really seeing them at trade shows or winning major awards or speaking at events. We just really weren't seeing them, but we knew they were there, and we knew this award could really elevate conversations as well as bring together a network of women, and not just a network of just only women, but also, our male allies. And at the time, I remember we were told there actually wouldn't be enough women in the industry to have even just one award. But obviously, we're now in our 5th year with a total of 30 winners for the Women in Wide Format Awards, which we previously named Women in Print Awards. And each year, the nominations would flood in. The excitement builds really to see who will win, what is now a coveted award in the industry. And because of the success there, because of the networking, because of the community and the conversation that was built from that, I decided to launch the Women in Screen Printing Awards for our industry. And it was welcomed with open arms. And I mean, you and I had probably the first conversation about it at ISS Long Beach. And you had mentioned, well, we're having the Women's Nexus for Shirt Lab, and I'd love for you to announce that these awards are even going to exist. And of course, COVID plans changed, but we still were able to announce during the virtual summit for Shirt Lab and really got the ball rolling. And if you were part of the event a couple weeks ago, you got to see the 6 winners that received their awards speak. And then we really had a great networking session to talk about how they got into business, if there were any hurdles that they had to overcome. And it was just a really great community builder, and also I think a great motivating tool for really anyone in the industry or anyone even out of the industry to see, oh, wow, okay, there are women succeeding and they're running these huge businesses. And it was it's really great to see. And I look forward to, continuing this and continuing the conversation and having more women feel as though, they can be part of this industry.
Yeah, I think that's just a fantastic story. And I remember that conversation. And what's actually fun is the judging for this awards was really tough. I mean, I was actually on the panel, I'm on the advisory board, and it took me several hours to go through all the applicants and really research and look at what they're doing. And it was kind of tough to figure out. I think we had to come down to our top 12. I think that was what we had to do, if I remember right. And because I didn't pick a winner, I just named the 12 that was in my group, right? And then so it was kind of a fun thing just to go through, and it was amazing diversity in skill sets and experiences and backgrounds, and it wasn't just the United States, it was other countries, and it was a really well-run thing, and I really liked doing it. And what was really unique about the article that I wrote for this month's edition was just kind of understanding, like, why do we need to have the award? And then what are we doing with this whole notion about celebrating and motivating more women to go into either leadership positions or entrepreneur roles where we're starting a business. And so as a guy, and as a leader in business, all I know is my own experience, right? And I certainly have championed women throughout my career and helping them get a leg up and moving through and like giving people stretch goals and actually getting people to run departments and run programs. I'm a big champion of that, and I've done that for a long time. And I've always looked at people as, I want the best performer, you know, not looking at race, not looking at gender. All I want to do is to field the best team. And that's how I feel about a lot of things. And so I'm looking for results. That's kind of my key thing here. But looking at the stats in researching the article, what I found is there's some numbers, right? There aren't, like, just looking at women business owners, you know, there's only 38% of small businesses are women owned, right? So that's a huge disparity, right? And just women in the workforce, and looking at women executives out of every, you know, 100 opportunities, you know, there's 100 guys that get the job as a manager, only 70 women get the job as manager, right? So why is that? And just looking at the available pool of women that are even interested in that role, is there's more men, you know, right there from the talent pool than women, right? So there's just, it's a numbers game. So if you just look at from that perspective, so the question I have for you, Adrienne, is, you know, in your career, right, how did you rise up, and what do you, maybe you think that we should do to give women more opportunities, give women to have the ability to take more risks? Because being a business owner is all about assuming the risk and really going out there and putting yourself out there, right? So how do we get that going, and what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, it's a lot of questions in there, and I hope I can try to answer them all. I mean, it's tough because I don't really have the answers as to like why every single woman in the world isn't a business owner. You know, I'm not a business owner, but I did work my way up in just a couple years from assistant editor to editor-in-chief of Big Picture, and now editor-in-chief of Screen Printing. And to me, you know, honestly, at 27, maybe I wasn't, you know, technically pen to paper supposed to be editor-in-chief of a magazine, but I worked really hard and I had the confidence to do it. So maybe those skills I was still learning a little bit at age 26, 27, but my confidence really brought me there. And also my passion and just my pursuit of wanting this so badly. There was nothing else that I wanted. Really, there still isn't anything else I want other than to be the editor-in-chief of these two magazines. And so I think I worked really hard and I was given the opportunity, and I'm so grateful for it. But it's not because I was just handed it.
Right.
It was something that I really wanted, and I knew that that was a trajectory of my career in life that I wanted to take. You know, again, I can't really answer why not every woman owns a screen printing industry, but I think that hopefully maybe there's some things that we can do as an industry to help women know that there is a path there for them. And I think that that really begins in early education, and that's for men and for young girls and young boys. So Victoria Jones, she owns Inbound Inc. She is also an editorial advisory board member for Screen Printing. And we were having a conversation during a podcast about women in screen printing through Rock US. And she brought up that she brings young students, like elementary grade, into her shop. And not only are they seeing, you know, kind of this behind the scenes of how maybe their jersey is printed for their sports team, but they're seeing this successful woman, a person of color too, leading this business. And at a young age, you're not only seeing this really cool process that you didn't understand, but you're seeing a woman in charge. And so I think that if more women business leaders brought in kids at a young age, then they're going to see, oh, okay, I could learn this trade. I can go to school for this. I can become a business owner. And it's something that's really cool and hands-on that maybe they didn't even know about. So I think early education is a great start. And then if you're already in the industry, then it's really connecting with leaders. It's attending shows. Jodie Taylor of PSI Screen Printing in Australia, who is a Women in Screen Printing Award winner, she traveled to ThreadX and ISS Long Beach. I mean, that's amazing, from Australia. You know, she's really putting in the work to learn and network and engage. And I think that if more women are willing to network and then find mentorship, you know, that is huge too. If you're able to connect with somebody who's already forged the path, already, you know, completed this journey, and you can work with them and learn from them, that's a great step too. So, I mean, it begins with early education, and then it doesn't stop there. You have to keep fighting. You have to keep learning. And you also have to have the interest. You know, not every woman has to own a business, but there are leadership opportunities within manufacturers or marketing positions, or you know, not everything has to be directly involved with being the owner or CEO of a business if that's not what you want to do. But we have to say that those positions are available and you can start your business. I mean, one of our winners, Val Solomon, she went to Hobby Lobby and picked up a screen printing starter kit, and now she is a business owner. And so I think it's really just putting yourself out there, but it also is this industry cultivating those relationships and opening doors for people and helping, which I've always felt that this industry is so welcoming and so helpful. I think everyone wants everyone else to succeed, even if they become competition. So I hope that answers.
Well, it's a great answer, right? And I think a lot of it comes down to confidence, right? What are we doing early on to set confidence in yourself, that you can do it, that you can succeed, that you have the guts to try. Mm-hmm. And whether, you know, you're a man or a woman, like, you got to have that to, like, you know, aspire to do more, right? You know, there's people who are happy to be a worker bee for the rest of their life, and there's other people who want more.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that all comes to, are you willing to put in the work? Are you willing to learn? Are you willing to you build your confidence up because you've overcome and you made some mistakes, and now I know not to do that thing. I'm going to do something else, right?
Right.
And I think that is how we get to where we are in our careers, right?
Yeah.
You know, I'm a guy. Nobody handed me anything, right? I earned it, right? I worked hard at it, and actually, the reason why we started the whole idea about the Shirt Lab Chicago Women's Nexus, which, by the way, is June 5th of 2021.
My birthday.
Yep. Oh, it's your birthday?
Yeah.
Oh my God, we're gonna have to have a birthday cake. So the reason we started that was for this very sole reason, is because that it's easy to see the disparity between women and men in this industry. And if we had more events and more things and more whatever, if we have that conversation more, we can have somebody who's currently the manager or the art director or, you know, whatever, in a shop go, you know what, I can do this, right? And start a business. And just doing that, I mean, all these big shops all started, Adrienne, from a kitchen table, a basement, a backyard, you know, outbuilding, you know, something, right? That's where they all started.
Yeah.
And nobody starts off with instant $1 million sales. Like, you know, I wish that was true, right?
Right.
And we all had to start somewhere. And I think just using the tools available that we have, and I think there's plenty of opportunities right now for women to succeed in this business by connecting and finding a mentor, by finding resources, by doing different things, by joining movements like Shirt Lab, or entering your business and going to trade shows and meeting people and that kind of stuff. You just have to get out there and do it. Don't you think?
Yeah. If you were part of the event for the Women in Screen Printing Awards, you saw, well, and maybe I saw a little bit behind the scenes, and I think they did talk a little bit about on camera, but a lot of the women knew each other because they're going to events, they're part of the industry. So they were excited to see each other, like, oh my gosh, you won too. Okay, cool. We know each other. And I think that is super, super important. It's not just getting into the business and being done with it. You really have to grow within it, and you have to have a growth mindset, and you have to continue training sessions, and not just training for yourself, but for your team, and going to these events, and obviously now virtual events too. And then it's also the industry has to take a little bit of, maybe not, they have to do the work too, because we've had so many conversations about how women go to booths at trade shows, and they're asked, well, where's your husband? Or, looking for the buyer. And it's like, well, that person is the decision maker. They're the owner of the business. And so I think having these conversations maybe sticks it in someone's head that, okay, I need to approach this differently when a woman, and even a young woman, comes to my booth or calls me on the phone or comes to my facility. I should not just say, oh, she's clearly not the person who's going to buy my machine or make the decision. Right. And right. I also brought it up with, this is more about a little bit of diversity, but for the Rising Stars Award, we had somebody say, because it was all white men, like, hey, and this was before the Women in Screen Printing Awards had even been announced or said that we were going to do it. And they said, this is not reflective of the industry. I was like, I completely agree. But no one is nominating women. No one is nominating anyone of color. So it's a little bit on the industry too. And I, ask the readers to really show up in that way. Right. Because it's definitely not just one-sided. There are women, there are people of color, there are a lot of diverse humans in this industry. And so as an editor-in-chief of a magazine that covers the industry, I have to be better at recognizing and sharing those stories, and everyone in the industry needs to do that as well.
Great, that's perfect. And just a final note, the reason why you should network and the reason why you should do things in the industry is this one kind of idea, which is, you're the average of the 6 people that you hang out with the most. So who are these people? Are they business owners and business leaders, thought provokers, people who are wanting to disrupt and make things better? Or are they people who are naysayers, who don't think that you can succeed and you shouldn't try that, it's not your place, right? So maybe you need to change your scenery, right?
Right. Yeah, surround yourself with people who say yes and uplift you. A lot of the women during their speeches were really so thankful of their teams, because they said, obviously, we can't do this without them. And so if you're constantly surrounding yourself with people who have the same vision, maybe they don't have to have the exact same vision as you, but if they can understand your vision and push you to do better. Yeah, you got to surround yourself with people like that.
All right, great. Well, this has been a great discussion. So what can somebody do right now if they're watching this video to learn more?
Sure. So if you want to learn about the winners, then just flip through the pages and you're going to see all 6 winners of the 2020 Women in Screen Printing Awards. I would also recommend, if you just clicked on this video, I would read through Marshall's column. And at the very end of the column, there is a live survey. And we're asking you, why do you think there aren't more women in the industry? And this is going to be a live poll. And so you can see the results pop up and you can answer in any way that you so choose. And we're really hoping this creates a dialogue to see maybe, why isn't this the case? And what can we do? What are some call to actions that we can provide to the industry and to women who are interested in growing?
All right, awesome. Thank you so much, Adrienne.
Thank you, Marshall.